So the rally went as I expected. More white people than Yemenis as always. But the few Yemenis that showed up were pro-Houthi Yemenis. And I knew that. And that's the reason I showed up. I'll tell you what. I went for the exact reason people were telling me not to go. Because if you think about it, who's the dominant voice in the game right now? Who's speaking on behalf of all Yemenis? Who's bringing all these rallies together? The pro-Houthi Yemenis. And that's super dangerous, and we have to realize that and reclaim the narrative. I've noticed lately that a lot of non-Yemenis and some Yemenis who've never been to Yemen view the Houthis as this heroic resistance group fighting against foreign invasion from neighboring countries, but that's not true at all. The Houthis are the reason the Saudi-led coalition was formed in the first place. Some people even compare them to Hamas. No! Without any sugarcoating, this is literally the slogan of the Houthis. Allahu Akbar, which you all know. Death to America, death to Israel. May all Jews be cursed. May Islam be victorious. They have nothing to do with Islam. The funniest part is they literally have death to America as the second line of their slogan. They fought 6 wars against Ali Abdullah Saleh government before he became buddy-buddy with them after he handed the authority to Abdurrahman Mansour Hadi. They completely destroyed the American embassy in Sana'a, and they're still not considered a terrorist group. But Hamas is. The Houthis started off as just a family in Saudi, became a cult, and then a political, religious, or distorted religious group, which then overtook Yemen in 2014 after Abdurrahman Mansour Hadi was elected. I was there when they marched to Sana'a. So don't tell me what the is going on in Yemen. I was there! After dropping me off at the airport, my father and my uncle were held outside and questioned by the Houthis. A few hours after my flight took off, the airport was destroyed. And keep in mind, the Saudi coalition didn't get involved until 2015. So the Houthis destroyed the airport first. The Houthis literally believe that they're the descendants of the Prophet, that they have the divine right to rule over Yemen at any cost, even if it means sacrificing hundreds of thousands of lives. The same way the Mutawakkilite kingdom under the Imam was in Yemen before the 1962 revolution. Now you can say that I'm making this up, but on the 2nd of February 2012, they released this book, Al-Wathiqa al-Fikriyya wal-Thaqafiyya al-Houthiyin. Basically their constitution with their current leaders, Abdul Malik al-Houthi signature on it. And you can read all this for yourself. Let's get to the Houthi 6 wars against the Saleh regime, which is kind of complicated since he fought 6 wars against them, then became their ally against his former vice president, Abdurrahman Mansour Hadi, whom he physically handed the power to. And then last year, December 2017, he tried to pull a slick one on the Houthis and they blew his head off. Let's familiarize ourselves with these names. Harakat al-Shabab al-Mu'min, al-Houthi, Ansar Allah. 3 names of the same group. Hussein Badr al-Din al-Houthi, the first leader of the group. Badr al-Din al-Houthi, the spiritual leader of the group. Abdul Malik al-Houthi, the current leader of the group. And the brother and son of the aforementioned two. First war started on June 18, 2004, after clashes between the Houthis and some soldiers, which resulted in Muhafadh al-Muhafadh, the mayor, issuing a warrant of arrest against their leader, Hussein Badr al-Din al-Houthi. We thought it would only last for a few hours, but they were prepared. They were ready to give up their lives. It lasted way longer than anybody expected, but something really good came out of it. On September 10th, 2004, Hussein Badr al-Din al-Houthi was killed, and there was a ceasefire. That's the first war. 5 more to go. Second war started on March 2005, ended in May 2005. Against Badr al-Din al-Houthi, the father, since the son was killed in the first war. And subhanAllah, every time they're almost finished, there's a ceasefire, so they go back and start a war the very next year. The third war is important. Although it started in late 2005, ended in early 2006, there were 2 important faces on the field. Yahya Badr al-Din al-Houthi and Abdul Malik Badr al-Din al-Houthi, the current leader of the group. During the third war, there was a very important shift. It was no longer Yemeni soldiers versus Houthi rebels. Now the tribes joined in. Pro-government tribes versus pro-Houthi tribes. Keep in mind, Yemen has the highest gun per capita after the United States. According to a survey in 2016, Yemen has a 54.8 per 100 resident. You know how problematic it is for tribes to get involved? Very. The fourth war started in February 2007, and a very shameful aspect of this war is that the Houthis decided to ethnically cleanse what was left of the Yemenite Jews in Saudi, whom have inhabited Yemen for over 5,000 years. These are the Jews who refused to move into illegal settlements built on Palestinian land, but now they were forced to. This is a Yemenite Jew singer who you can find on Instagram, who now lives in occupied Palestine singing about the Houthis. Whoever opposes you dies. You blew all of our houses. Fourth war ended because of Qatari intervention after Al-Amir al-Sheikh Hamad bin Khalifa al-Thani visited Yemen in May 2007, but it wasn't until the 2nd of February 2008 when the agreement was officially signed by the Houthis and Ali Abdullah Saleh. A little over a month later, just 1 month, February, March, the fifth war starts again. This time, the war reached Bani Hushash, the northern parts of Sana'a, and the northern parts of Amran. The fifth war was literally stopped with a phone call between Ali Abdullah Saleh and the Houthi leaders. He specifically stopped it on July 17th, 2008, the 30th anniversary of him becoming president, which made some people realize that it was a game this whole time. 5 wars. The customized ceasefire by Ali Abdullah Saleh lasted long. 6th war started in August 11th, 2009. And this one was the bloodiest yet. August 11, 2009. 6th war started ultimately because the Houthis were accused of kidnapping tourists. I don't recall what happened to them, but I remember being 6 demands from the government for the Houthis. Some of the demands were bring back the kidnapped or tell us what happened to them. Hand in all the arms, all the weapons you've taken from the military bases in the area and start the destruction. To which the Houthis replied, "Psych, you thought. When you're ready, come and get it." By this point, the Houthis had overtaken so much territory that the government was forced to use heavy airstrikes from the first day. There were hundreds of casualties from both sides, and around 150,000 people were displaced. I don't know what kind of drugs they were on, but the Houthis overtook Jabal al-Dukhan in Jazan, which is a part of Saudi, which made Saudi get involved. That was back in 2010. Saudi conducted their own airstrikes on the Houthis as well. And then 2011, the beautiful Arab Spring, there is revolutions everywhere. We all go into the Tahrir Square in Sana'a. We are الشعب يريد عمب العظام. This is not to undermine the revolution in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. Our revolution was successful, but our revolution was stolen from us. Our revolution was hijacked. I personally think that our biggest issue as Yemenis, and the main reason that had led us to the situation we're in today, is that we value and glorify personalities and people more than we do Yemen itself. You cannot half-ass a revolution, and that's exactly what we did. We took out a person who was the president for 33 years and replaced him with his vice president. Ali Abdullah Saleh did not have much power stripped off. He still had so much authority. He was the president of the GOP, the biggest and most powerful party in Yemen back in the day. If he ran for president right after the revolution, he would have still probably won. No exaggeration. That's how much people loved him. A lot of people reasonably wonder, how could a rebel group, which started off one family, Al-Houthi, possibly take over a country with a military, an army, and navy, and air force that fought 6 wars against them? You'd be surprised by the answer. Fast forward to 2014. I'm in Sana'a. The Houthis are marching by the thousands to Sana'a. And a few days after I leave, they attacked the presidential palace trying to kill Abd Rabbu Mansour Hadi. There are rumors that he disguised himself in a woman's dress in order to escape. Former Vice President, now President Abd Rabbu Mansour Hadi is chilling in Saudi. Once he stopped obeying Ali Abdullah Saleh's commands, he flipped and he allied his JOP with the Houthis, which enabled them to take over all the military bases they took over. After getting hold of all these weapons and taking over all these military bases, the Houthis took over so many cities they reached Aden. Let me show you how far apart they are. This is the northern Yemeni border. This is Sa'da, and this is Aden. Houthis are not this adorable, little cute, oppressed minority that took over a country with AK-47s. They fired a missile that went from Sa'da to Riyadh, Saudi's capital. The conflict in Yemen is not as simple as Saudi bombing and these superhero rebels called the Houthis standing and resisting on behalf of all Yemenis. In the southern parts, there are foreign troops from Sudan, from Emirates. There is secret prisons. There is a block. At this point, the end of the blockade and the ceasefire is a demand of every Yemeni. But still, guess who's going to be the main beneficiary of that? The Houthis, because they're literally the government. We have an immigrant president, the legitimate government. They're overseas in Saudi. Whether we like it or not, the Houthis are in control. They have all the ministries. They had a freaking Maqawwat for president. And they replaced him with a Samad who was blown off in the airstrike, and now they have another one. And they have all the armory that Al-Shahid Ali Abdullah Saleh gave them access to when he allied his JOP party with them. They still have all. In conclusion, I personally think that the only solution for Yemen is a political one. and not a military one. But if worse comes to worse and there's a ceasefire, okay, everybody gets out of Yemen and leave the Houthis to us. We'll handle them. And then you'll see if Yemenis really like the Houthis or not. If we, the silent majority, don't step up to the plate and reclaim the true narrative, then the Houthis will be portrayed as the heroes they're being portrayed as today. And for the people that think Houthis are the angels, simply because they're at the forefront speaking up and calling for a ceasefire and want to stop the war, they're only doing that because it serves them. And sometimes the loudest voices in the room aren't necessarily the ones you should listen to. Do your research. Understand the general opinion of Yemenis on Houthis. Ask somebody from Aden. Ask somebody from Taiz, the city which the Houthis have not been able to take over till this day. Till this day! The pro-Houthis who showed up at today's NYU for Yemen rally pulled a really slick one. They had a sign which said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu kunu ansar Allah. And they hit it till after the protest. When we started taking pictures with the flag, I was holding the flag. I didn't see the sign, and I got caught in one of the pictures with them. That was so cowardice. How about y'all bring out the real slogan which y'all painted all over Sana'a, all over Yemen, which says death to America in its second line. That's your real slogan. That's what y'all really believe in. Don't bring a Quranic verse that has absolutely nothing to do with y'all into this. I'm not going to show faces or call out names because I'm pretty sure other people got caught off guard the same way I did. But what I'm also not going to do is remain silent, because I believe that silence is violence. And I'm going to single-handedly expose and post this all over social media. And if you want to share it, share it.